Hello.
Hi, is that Gloria?
Yes, hi. This is Gloria Rios. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. My honor.
Super excited to talk to you. So our editorial team is working to put together an article about how brow technicians, folks who specialize in microblading, threading, and micro waxing, how they got started. There's so many people that are really interested in this profession, and we know you're a rock star, so we wanted to hear from you and learn a bit about your story and how you got started.
Okay. Do you want me to get started?
Yeah, so I just have a few questions for you. So first, how did you get into microblading and doing brows?
Well, I started my career as a makeup artist about 15 years ago. I thought the best way for me to really be taken serious was take like classes with like really certified people with big names. So I went on and invested. I think it's important to invest in like great schools, so it's kind of like a backup, like a UCLA and stuff. I started doing makeup. I've always had a really great technique with drawing eyebrows. So eyebrows have been one of my specialties, even with my early days as a makeup artist. And then from there, I transitioned into, well, I started working for this makeup artist who was opening a line. She was opening a studio to do threading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I started threading, anyone can thread, just FYI. But in order for you to use the tools that are the most important, which is to perfect your work, is scissors and tweezers, you have to be an esthetician.
Ah.
So I said, well, how can I let a client go without those tools? I need to make sure that my client leaves this chair with perfect eyebrows. So I decided to go back to school and become an esthetician. And when I started, right after I got my license, I applied for Anastasia. So I started my career when Anastasia was branching her makeup line, and
Wow.
she was doing eyebrows.
Wow.
So I became a freelancer. Stop me if you need me. I'm just gonna kind of go along.
Please go.
So when I started as a freelancer makeup artist esthetician for Anastasia. So I would go through all her Nordstroms, from like San Diego to like Thousand Oaks to Mission Viejo, and I've always made myself available. I never said no. I love to work. I love to meet people. But then I realized people like my work, and they're like, "Where do you work?" And I said, "Well, I really don't have a home. I'm a freelancer, so I travel through all the Nordstroms." And this is one thing that Nordstrom taught us, which was with Anastasia. We would go out and pull clients. I wouldn't wait for clients to come to us. We would walk the aisles, and we would pull and ask, hey, ask questions about their eyebrows. Have they ever got their brows like measure symmetrically, or how they're supposed to be, or brow guide or whatnot. And so that's how I started my career in the brow world. And then an opportunity came about at the Cerritos location in California, and I took it. And I started that business from scratch, and it just boomed. I had 2 girls under me. The great thing about Nordstrom or any big company, I would suggest any artist out there transitioning into this world, is really learn your craft as far as brow goes. But customer service is one thing that really Nordstrom taught me. Really how to talk to the clients, listen to the clients, especially if I was, say, servicing with the client and the client came up and needed a product. I had to make sure I let them know, okay, 1 second, I'm with the client, I'll be right with you. So acknowledging everyone it's a key thing that Nordstrom really taught me, how to handle the customer service part of it. And I was there for a few years, maybe 8 years, 7 years. I sat number 2 in one of in the whole company,
Wow.
retail and service, because we had 2 separate goals. Right. So we always hit that mark. I mean, we were slammed. I mean, I'm talking about, I used to wax about 14 girls a day, nonstop, every day. So it was pretty hectic. But then, I knew this microblading was coming out, and I was really excited about. I am a person that I'm always trying to grow. I don't like to, especially in our industry. There's always newer technology, new techniques. When it comes to estheticians, there's so much out there for us to be able to offer our clients and not just have one thing. I like options for myself as far as when I go shopping or when I go get facials. I wanna hear it all. So that's kind of like my mentality. I decided every year. Oh, once I left Nordstrom, I branched out completely on my own. I've been on my own for 3 years now as a
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And so and I wasn't too afraid because most of my clients followed me.
Right. How did you do that? I mean, did you decide one day it's time to work full time for myself, or did you say, okay, once I get to this number of clients, I know I can support myself? How did you decide?
Well, I was growing so much. Sunday came and I was dead. I would cry sometimes because it was just, it would take soul away. It became so, I love my work. For 7 years, the success just, it was great. I learned so much from clients and myself, but that day came one day where, unfortunately, the company, Nordstrom, the managers really didn't know how to take care of me. So I thought, this is my talent. It's time to spread my wings and get on my own and not be afraid. Like, there wasn't a reason why I should be afraid when I had such loyal clients. For me, like, the way I work with my clients, I kind of treat it like a therapy session. I'm very involved with my clients. The minute I meet a client, I want to make sure that we're going to build a relationship, because this is a very personal service. I'm touching your face. You have to trust me. I'm in your face, especially with your brows and your face. So to me, when I meet clients or potential new clients, I like to make sure that I'm going to build a relationship. This is going to be a long-term relationship. I'm going to be your esthetician. Just like people with hair and nails, like they don't leave their people. That's right. The motto that I'm as far as brow servicing. So I most of my clients follow me, and till this day, I still don't have a Yelp. I'm still very much like word of mouth. Wow. Believe it or not.
That's awesome.
I'm getting ready to revamp and give my website it needs like a little update. It needs a lot of work.
Right.
But I've been very blessed with my technique. I'm a perfectionist. I still go back in. I restudy my work. I continue to take more courses, more classes. I have 13 services that I do.
Wow. And because you've taken so many different classes that allow you to diversify the different services you provide.
That's correct.
And does taking more classes and offering more services, does that allow you to offer more to a small, like your set group of clients, or does that allow you to expand the number of clients you have who want different services than what you might provide?
No, I think it just allows them to have more options, and they know that kind of like a one-stop shop. I offer more. Okay. I'm very active in social media. I post a lot of my work. I'm very artistic, if you would call it. So a lot of my work, I put a lot of love and effort in my flyers, in my posts, of my edits. So I make sure I'm very active on that, and it's just me. I don't have no one else helping me. I do it all. Wow. So I find the time to really perfect that. Really.
Are you more exhausted or less exhausted than when you worked for Nordstrom and were doing all 14 clients a day?
Honestly, I work smarter, not harder now. So I can say that I planted my seeds a long time ago. I knew as I got older, I just turned 43, that I wanted to work in an environment that was less chaotic, like the world of cosmetics. Like now, if you go to like any of the trend shows and Nordstrom's or any events like the makeup show, they're very, very, very busy. It's overwhelming at this point, especially the way the makeup world has grown. It's beautiful. I love it. Like our industry is just blooming and blossoming.
Yeah.
So much out there. especially with the social media world. Like, honestly, IG it's a powerful tool, just like Pocket Suite. I mean, I'll tell you this, with Pocket Suite, I love the fact that I can just, it's very professional. It's, I set up my appointments for the clients, or they go online and do it for themselves. I give them that option, but I love the fact that it has that little reminder set. If you can, like, it sends them a little reminder, 24 hours, 12 hours. Like, I love that tool because it really helps me not think about one other thing that I need to take care of, because when I was with Nordstrom, we had to call the day before to just kind of set them a reminder. And that's something that I think it's important in all services, to make sure you're in contact with your clients at all given time, especially when it comes to like new services, or if they need to come back for, because the goal is for Brows is for your client to come in every once a month, because the hair cycle is about 24 days.
Okay.
So you want to get that client coming in once a month, because once you get that hair cycle coming in, they come in really full at the same time, and you don't have all these spars. So the goal is to make sure before your client leaves this room that you're rebooking their appointment.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what I mean. That I try to do that for the most part. I'm not real pushy. I'm a little passive aggressive in my own way, but I let them kind of come around when they need to. But for the most part, when I have new clients or new referrals, I make sure that I give them. I go through the entire process of mapping their brows and really showing them, especially the first client, really showing them their brows and how it works, like the golden ratio and everything that I learned from Nordstrom and Anastasia. I've definitely used those tools to really branch out my business. And, it's been 3 years. I have 13 services, and I get a lot of new people. And like I said, I work at a studio there. I rent a room from a girl, and there's nothing out there that states that I'm here. So it's kind of like word of mouth still. Yeah. So believe it or not, and I'm very successful, and I'm very grateful every day. I kind of pinch myself like, wow, like you're really doing this, Gloria. You should be very proud of yourself. So that's just my way of thinking. I like to make sure that I always have other resources for my clients. So I like to meet a lot of people in my industry. So my clients really trust my advice when it comes to beauty. So if I have all these resources, so they're like, Gloria, where do I go for here? I'm like, go here, go there. And the world of social media is all about that. It's like, oh, I went here, and you tag the person, so everyone gets to see where you're going and people are interested. So I feel like it's just, social media is just a great tool for all businesses, especially small businesses like myself, that I don't have any other way of advertising, and I don't have a Yelp yet, believe it or not.
You may not need one, believe me. So, Gloria,
yeah.
You are so impressive and so successful, and I know so many folks look up to you to sort of say, wow, could I do that one day? Could I go out on my own? So I have like 4 specific questions as it relates to your education that I wanted to ask, just to give people guidance who are just starting out. The first is, how did you choose the training? Did you focus on the Nordstrom training, or how did you choose from all of the different trainings that are out there? What factors did you look at to say this is the right training for me initially?
I think Nordstrom itself, I really look up to them in the way they handle their business, how they're still very much successful. So definitely Nordstrom, I worked for MAC too before. So MAC was another company that I'm just giving you an example of the way they train. Every time a new makeup line launches or a new product launches, they go back and they touch on like the trend, and they show you all these different techniques. So, because there's new trends always, especially in our industry. You have to know how to reinvent yourself. Right. You can't stay stuck. And that's my mentality. So to me, education is very important. Like I said, for me, it's like going to UCLA for my industry.
Right.
The certificates are important to have up in my wall, so the clients can really trust me that I'm a professional and that I know what I'm doing, besides my perfect technique, because I continue to master it and I continue to practice. I continue to go back and look at my work and look at it in a different angle, or what can I perfect, what can I do better? And so that's really helped me. And that's the same thing that I tell these young girls that come to me, or sometimes my clients really, they really put me up there. They love my work. They speak very highly of me, and they sometimes ask questions, and I give them guidance. I have no problem with anyone asking me questions. People are like, when are you going to start teaching, Gloria? Because,
Right.
your craft is really, it's really on point. So, yeah.
So here's my next question. How many hours do you think in total you've spent like training on everything from microblading to threading to waxing? How many hours do you think you've spent on
Oh,
brows?
boy.
You just guess.
Oh, boy, I don't even know what number to throw you.
Is it like is it the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours? You've done the 10,000 hours so far. So you're an expert master, Zen master at brows.
Probably something to that. Yes.
And when you, so the other thing I would ask is, do you think that people who are going into this, do you think they should work for a company, like a big company like a Mac or a Nordstrom initially, or do you think they could go directly into freelancing or just directly into kind of their own business on their own?
No, I think that like everyone, you should start from the bottom up. It's important to learn the way these big companies operate, especially with high volume. An esthetician is not going to have a lot of volume. You're client by, for instance, I'm appointment based, so I don't take any walk-ups.
Right.
But it's important to learn from these bigger companies so they can really teach you the tools to really handle not just the service, but the customer service part, and then, the knowledge that you have. For me, I also want to share with you, it's important for these young girls who are getting into the brow world to really work for like a threading place or an eyebrow place, to really, because I see a lot of people, even some of my clients are now microblading, and they've never done eyebrows, so I'm like, I think it's important to really master the brow world and the brow technique and mapping the brows, and then slowly kind of, work your way to that, because, these are tattoos. A lot of people, I get a lot of people that come to me that they've had other work done, and, so you want to make sure that you're going to the right person, and this person is certified, and they have a lot of, history, knowledge on this service, because it's a big deal. And I have a lot of competition now. It's not as easy, but I kind of don't worry about that. I trust that my clients trust me and they love my work.
Yeah.
And I think I'm very, my work is really crisp. So I think everyone really sees that. So yeah, I think that's definitely important for everyone to really go out there and work for someone. Go out there, even if you go and work at Ulta, Sephora, they have brow studios in there, especially like those stores that have like huge, they teach you all products in there. I think that's beautiful. I would love to have worked at a Sephora and Ulta, because I would know all skin lines, all makeups, when clients ask you any questions as far as beauty, not just brows. But definitely, I think it's important for someone to go and work for a brow company or makeup company. Definitely.
Awesome. So this is my final question. What do you believe are the top 5 brow services that every person specializing in brows should know?
The top brow wait, I'm sorry, repeat that one more.
Yeah, the top 5 brow treatments that every person who is doing microblading or is a brow tech should really know and master.
Definitely, the brow mapping is important.
Brow mapping, what's that?
So, you want to measure their brows, make them asymmetrical when you're drawing the microblading. That's very important, making sure your client has enough knowledge and information. So a good email, so they are aware of what to expect post-op and aftercare. That's important. And and really making sure that you're giving your client the right service. Like, for instance, let me just throw this at you. Microblading, when I went to school for that, they teach you like the 3 hair cycles, which is European, it grows all the way up. Asians grow down. And then most of us grow up, and then the brow hair goes down. So you wouldn't want to give a European look to an Asian woman because technically her real hair doesn't grow that direction. So it's really understanding to read what type of brow you're going to give them, or technique. And that helps me also with I just took the brow lamination class. Do you know what that is?
I don't know. What's the brow lamination?
So brow lamination is the new one that just popped up from the UK. It's just coming in from the UK. So it's fairly new, but there's a lot of online courses you can take, or a lot of people are already offering. So it's basically a perm to your actual brow hair. So it creates this all up look, which first of all, it gives you like a brow lift. And second of all, it keeps your hair all up in a direction for like 2 months.
Wow.
So that's really studying, again, back to what I just said, knowing the way the 3 hairs, the 3 hair cycles grow for most of us. Everyone has we come from different backgrounds. So Europeans grow up, Asians grow hair downwards, and then most of us grow up and down. So it's really studying that part to know exactly where you're going to give your client.
Got it. That is fascinating. I thought you were going to say like tinting and threading and so forth, but you've gone to a whole nother level, which is really understanding the theory behind how to do brows. Yes. Because then you can do any kind of brow and do any different kind of style because you understand the underlying theory. Yes.
My top services right now that I'm doing the most is clearly thread. Wax that's a given. Everyone comes for wax. But I'm doing microblading. I'm doing ombre, which is more of that one's actually done with an actual tattoo machine. And that one, it looks like an airbrush technique, which lasts longer than microblading. And I also do brow henna.
What's that? Oh, is that like henna, like on your arm? Wow.
Yeah, but it's just for instance, like say you're interested in ombre, you want to you're not sure if you want semi-permanent tattooing yet, right? You're still trying to figure it out. So henna, it's super temporary. Maybe it's great for if you're going on vacation, you don't have to fill in your eyebrows. So that particular technique has really helped me master my line work. Because it's all about a straight line, right? Creating that. So henna has really helped me master my line work. And I just keep getting better and better. And if you look at my work for henna, it looks like a tattoo. It's that perfect, cleaned out from the edges. I just really take my time and really, it's not sloppy, just slapped on the eye. I really make sure I clean it up from the top with like either alcohol or water and just straighten up those lines. Because once that henna sets in, then it looks like a tattoo.
Wow.
Another thing I want to share with you, there's different, as the world of cosmetic keeps evolving, there's just so many different styles of eyebrow. When I started doing eyebrows for Anastasia, I remember they said, Gloria, this is not a MAC brow, okay? This is more of a natural, everyday woman brow. I said, okay, fine. So it was more thick across the board, nothing tailored, nothing too thin from the tail. It was not square. It was more rounded, more natural, like every woman can wear this brow. Right. And now we're talking about the brow has changed. And so when I took 2 courses and this is where I invested my money and my time. I took a course with this lady named Daria in Beverly Hills. She teaches that natural everyday brow, the ombre and microblading. I took 2 classes with her. But then I started seeing like on social media how they were also doing this really carved, perfected super thick in the front and your tail very tailored. So it looked really nice. It looked like these girls that are being carved with their body. It just looks really beautiful. It looks tailored to the face. It's like contouring your face, right? So I decided to take another class with this other younger artist because I wanted to make sure I had options for my clients. Like, okay, you don't want this eyebrow look? Okay, well, I can do this eyebrow look. And to me, that's important again, to have options for them, you know.
Where are you finding out about all of these trainings? How are you finding out about all the trainings that come up?
Well, I'm very active on social media, so I follow a lot of companies, and then a lot of my makeup friends from, you know, they send me stuff like, oh, have you heard of this? Because I have such high respect, so they trust me, and they're like, Laura, if you don't know this, like, oh, or have you heard of this? Or I just kind of find out on my own because this is my industry, so I'm very involved. I try to be on top of it. Like I said, I'm constantly reinventing myself. And I still rent this little tiny room. I kind of feel like I have the same story of Anastasia. When Anastasia started, she was in a little room in a salon working in Beverly Hills, and that's how she built her clientele. So to me, it's not like about having a big studio. It's about really making sure that my client leaves here happy. You know.
So final question. People are as they're going into this profession, they're trying to figure out how much money can I make if I do this part-time? How much money can I make if I do this full-time? What would you say is like the formula? Like if you have this number of clients, you can make typically this amount of income a month. If you have this number of clients, you can make that income a month. Is there just like a rule of thumb that people can use to determine how many clients do I need to get to be able to, do this part-time, or to be able to quit my job and do this full-time?
Well, that's a good question because that's kind of like what I use as a tool for my own business. Like I said earlier, I always wanted to work smarter, not harder, as I did, because I already put my dues, like I guess you would call it. I already paid my dues when I worked for Anastasia. We would take 15 people a day. That was ridiculously crazy. I had neck issues. I had to go see a chiropractor every so often. I worked out. I had a personal trainer because I needed to be on top-notch shape because I was running a marathon, okay? And I was prepared to run a marathon. But now that I'm getting older, I think for me, it's having these, for instance, like brow services, I charge $40. Now I have microblading that I charge $550. Now I have ombre and microblading that I charge $750. Wow. Now I've added the brow lamination. It's $100. With wax is $140. With henna, and so I think like a business, like how big companies think. You always want to add on. So it makes your time worth coming in, and your client is happy, and you have all these options for them. So I can take 3 clients in one day and make, I don't know, $100 versus or if I take 3 clients and I'm offering them bigger services, then I can make $800. So it fluctuates for me. For me, I like to come and show up. I'm here from Tuesday through Saturdays, but there's days where, I won't come in on a Wednesday because it's a little quiet. So I just kind of know how to navigate the appointments and make sure that it's worth my time and their time. But this is one thing, I'm very flexible, okay? If my clients need me, I'm there. I'm here. I make myself available. They know that I run hurdles for them. They know that I will make myself. They don't take advantage of me. It's never that case. It's just that they know that I run a business that they're my boss. They're hiring me to do a service, so I have to be available, and that's kind of like the way I work.
You're an amazing role model, Gloria. Thank you so much. You're educating the next generation of brow technicians and continuing to delight clients everywhere. So thank you so much for talking to us. I'll send you the article with this audio included so that you can share it as well. But thank you. We've learned so much from this conversation.
Great. If you want to look at my my work, I have it on Instagram. It's Brows by Glow.
Perfect. We're going to include some snapshots of your Instagram profile in the article, and we'll let people know where they can find you as well.
Sure. Yes, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for selecting me. I was really excited. I felt honored, and I know in the future I'm going to be a teacher. That's the goal. So
Well, let us know
Thank you
because
so much.
we're working with some providers who are launching certification programs for other industries. So let us know whenever you're ready. We'd love to be able to help you to grow that business as well.
And thank you guys for being such an awesome company to work with as far as like appointments and making my life easy. Not so long ago, I had 2 tattoos one day, and I charged $650 per client, and you guys reached out to me to make sure that I had signatures and just to cover myself. And I've never done such a huge transaction in one actual transaction. So I really love that Pocket Suite really takes their time to really, make sure that, we handle our business, but you guys are back end to, cover us just in case something went wrong. I really appreciate Pocket Suite. It's amazing. I always talk about you guys. I'm like, when clients come in or people that are trying to get in the industry, they're like, what do you use? And I actually was referred to by a really successful sports chiropractor that uses your company. He's used several other companies. So thank you, Pocket Suite. You guys are amazing. And if you ever need any more, I don't know, you want to ask me more questions or any guidance, please. I would love to help in any possible way.
Oh, wonderful. I will have someone reach out to you just about becoming a Pocket Suite ambassador. You already are, clearly. So thank you.
Oh
and
my gosh. Thank you so much.
We'll share the article with you as soon as it's ready to be released.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Okay, you have a great one.
You too.
Have a great week.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.